Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to talk about my latest design for Knitting Magazine issue 265. That's what the cover looks like. I'm going to show you photos of my design. Then we're going to go back to a few months ago when I finished knitting this design and sent it off to Knitting Magazine and show you what it looks like on my dress form and talk a little bit about the design. Then I'll come back and show you what else is in this magazine. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're new here, my name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns. I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and I sell yarn through our website YarnAddict.co.uk. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. So let's go and have a look at what this design looked like when I finished it a few months ago, and then we'll come back and look at the pictures from the magazine of my design and what else is in this issue. So let's take a look at what this sample looks like in person. This is knitted in incredibly fine yarn. So if you recognize this yarn, it's because I used this for a sweater for myself back in the spring. I'm actually filming this at the beginning of July, just as I'm about to go to Norway on holiday. And I just finished a sweater holding this yarn together with Monos Uruguay merino lace. I held one strand of this and one merino lace together and knitted a sweater for myself. So if you're familiar with this yarn because you're watching me earlier in the year, this yarn might be familiar to you. So this yarn is the Rika Design Creative Make a Blümchen. Assuming it's a German yarn, I think. I'm assuming Blümchen, does that mean flowers in German? I should probably remember that from my German lessons at school, but I do not. Each cone is 25 grams. And it's 375 meters per cone, so it's very fine yarn, as you can tell. 375 meters to 25 grams, it's very thin. It's 100% lyocell and it's color 3, and it's the same color that I originally bought to use for my merino sequin sweater, but then I actually changed it to a lilac yarn instead. So I have quite a lot of this yarn now, so I may have to do something more with it. But I knitted with this holding 2 strands double, so I just pulled 2 strands from 2 cones and knitted them together. It is still a very fine yarn. I knitted on 3mm needles, which I know is very thin, but I think it is worth it to get this beautiful knit. The problem with this kind of yarn is that the fabric doesn't end up 100% even. You will see some inconsistencies in the fabric. Like you can see here, there's a little bit of looks like a run of stitches. I'm hoping that won't show too much in the magazine photos, but I think I must have dropped a stitch and hooked it back up again, and that can show us a little bit of inconsistencies, and I can see that happening some other places as well. But I did really enjoy knitting this sweater. If you've been watching my podcast all year and you look back to June, July, this is the top I was desperately trying to finish before I went to Norway, while I was also really keen on crocheting a sweater for myself. So if you can remember back to June, July, this is the one, this is the deadline I was working flat out on to try and finish, and it took me longer than I expected it to. But it is a very fine yarn. So it is a shorter length, it is a cropped length. You can easily add length to this. You may need to get some more yarn, but you would need a lot more. So it's knitted in the round to the underarms. It has a rib at the bottom, just 10 rounds of 2x2 ribs, a knit 2, purl 2 rib. And then when you get to the underarm, you knit the front and the back separately. That's what the back looks like. You get to the shoulders. On the front, it has a bit of round neckline shaping. When you get to the shoulders, you join the shoulders by working a 3-needle cast off. And then you pick up stitches around the armhole and around the neckline. Now, one problem I did have with this, and I ended up doing the neckline or casting off the neckline, I think about 3 times. Problem is, when you cast off with very thin yarn, it's very difficult to get a stretchy cast off if you do a regular cast off. So normally when I do rib, I would cast off in rib, and usually if I make an effort to just do it a little bit looser, that would be fine. It would be stretchy enough. But this one, it wasn't. So I cast off on the bigger needle size. I went up 2 needle sizes and cast off in ribs. Still wasn't stretchy enough. So then I did cast off pearl wise because I find that can be a bit stretchier. Still came out too tight for the neckline. Obviously the problem is that I'm not a size 10, which this sample is, so I can't try it on, but I did try pulling it over my head. I do have quite a big head, but and I didn't want there to be any problems with the photo shoot. So I ended up undoing it again, and I actually did a Russian cast off, which I normally only do for lace shawls, and I would normally find it too loose for something like this, but that's what I ended up doing to make sure that the neckline cast off was stretchy enough. Around the armholes, I think I just cast off, I can't tell because the yarn's so fine, but I think I either cast off pearlwise or in rib. Whatever I did, I've written it in the pattern, but I can't remember. So this is very sparkly. I don't know whether you can see the sparkles that well on the camera, but it's very sparkly. As you can see, when I put my hand underneath, it is a little bit see-through. So depending on how much skin you're willing to show, you could wear this over a little sleeveless dress like I've done here. This purple dress has been on my dress form for years, so I just left it on. Or you can wear it on its own with just a bra or vest top underneath. Wear it over high-waisted trousers, skirts. It'd make a perfect party top for the party season, and it would also make quite a nice, I think, party top for the summer. Or you could wear it with a blazer over the top as well. It'd look really nice under a blazer, I think, with a more of a kind of formal look with just this fun sparkling yarn underneath. And it would be a way of introducing some of your hand knits into your everyday wardrobe. So this is fairly simple top, fairly easy to knit. The challenge comes with the yarn. If you are used to knitting with thicker yarn and thicker needles, you will probably find this a bit challenging to start with. So what I would recommend is that you do knit a decent sized swatch first to get used to it. Yarn is not super easy to unravel because of this sequence that it has on the yarn. If it does unravel a bit. You see, I don't know if you can see that. Probably doesn't have, oh yeah, you can see it, just about see it there maybe, I don't know. It's got these sequins on the yarn, they're really tiny, but obviously if you have to unravel, sometimes they'll catch, so it can be a little bit challenging to unravel. If you're a bit unsure about knitting with such fine yarn because you're not used to it, then I would just spend a little bit on swatching first to get used to it. It is stocking stitch in the round after you've done the rib, so it's a very easy knit. If you want to add length to it, you can add length before the underarm. So you could just make this section longer if you wanted to. So the yarn, I've knitted with it before. I really like it. I wouldn't knit with this held single because it's so thin. Holding this double or holding it with another lace weight yarn, I quite enjoyed knitting with it. And it does give you this gorgeous twinkly look that will kind of sparkle in the sun, in the lights. As you saw in the video, I chose to knit with this sparkly yarn. It's a very thin yarn and it has these sequins on it. There are a lot of sequin yarns around at the moment. They're very, very popular. Some of them have tiny sequins like the yarn I use. Some of them have bigger sequins. So just have a look and see if you can find the ones with the size sequins that you like. So here's a picture of my design. As you can see, it is quite see-through and it is cropped. And I can't remember whether I said it in the video or not, earlier or not, but you can lengthen it. You just need to knit it longer before you get to the underarms. It is, doesn't use a lot of yarn, so it is easy just to get an extra little cone of this and make it longer. So let's look at what else is in this issue. As I said, it's a sort of sparkle season is the sort of tagline. 24 glam makes for winter. Cozy meets glitz in our festive knits. So aim more at the upcoming party season, I guess, with Christmas and New Year and Christmas parties and all that kind of stuff. So here is a preview of some of the designs in this issue. So the start bit has all the news pages with various news from the knitting world, new products, new yarns, all that kind of stuff, and some yarn shop news and that kind of thing. Then they do this I Love Knitting page where they kind of share loads of products that they think we might like. Some of them are obviously Christmas, aimed at Christmas because we are in November now, so we are coming up to Christmas. And then there is a column by Vicky Howell, who's American, The State of Sparkle. So she shows off or has various things like going on in the States, new products, some sparkly yarns again. sequin yarns are very, very popular at the moment. And then there is an article about Trump's tariffs by Christine Boggis, which I haven't read yet, but it's caused a lot of problems in the knitting world, both here in Europe and in the US, as sellers here in Europe try to figure out the tariff situation, and as Americans try to figure out what they're going to pay. And some people are very upset because they like to order from European companies and they now have to pay a lot more for that. There is an article called I Knit This For You. Leah Redman, artist, knitter, and author of This Is For You, Gift Giving as a Way of Life, on how to give good hand-knitted gifts. I'm always very cautious about hand-knitted or handmade gifts. I'm sure I've got a YouTube video on it. If I do, I'll link it below, because it is, as knitters and makers, we probably want to make something, but it's not always appreciated. So I think there are issues around whether people really want what you're making them, and are they going to wear it or use it? And if they don't, are you going to be upset about it? If they decide to re-gift it to somebody else, it's not going to upset you. That's happened to friends of mine. So just think carefully before you gift a handmade gift to somebody. Make sure they actually want it and they're going to appreciate it, because I've gifted stuff to people who didn't appreciate it, and it's quite upsetting. Then there's an article about a knitting spy, Allis, Latour, whose knitting helped her to spy for the Allied forces in Nazi-held France. So that's really interesting if you're interested in history as well. And then there's an interview with a Scottish Indidar, I think. Some lovely yarn pictures there. The first design is also, there's a glimpse of it on the cover. Look at that stunning dress. I have knitted like a short dress before, and I've knitted a couple of skirts before. This is the Greta gown in King Cole Marina DK and King Cole Cosmos by Katriana Gilanders. It is beautiful. All I would say is just be a bit careful with heavier yarns to make sure that it doesn't stretch too much. And then there are some hand warmers. These are the ones on the cover by Brona Miscali, and a beautiful shawl, very simple, beautiful shawl. Looks like the yarn is very soft, by Emma Vining. Beautiful designs there. And then there's another shawl by Brian Smith. My design on this page, and then there's beautiful lacy cardigan opposite by Brona Miscali again. And then a so socks and shawl by Christine Boggis, and a sweater by Jacinta Bowie. That's a really pretty sweater. Perfect if you want to knit a Christmas sweater that isn't too Christmassy and you can wear the rest of the year. And then there's some new very interesting designs. I like this grey one down here, this white creamy one down here. It looks like it has a very interesting construction technique. That's by Rico Design, so it's one that they released and it's been reprinted. Then there are some hats and socks. Then they do a page where they team various knits and show kind of stuff you can wear with it. So the top one is mine. They showed it in different colors, and then what you can wear with it. And that's the dress shown in different colors, and suggestions for what you might want to wear with it. Clothes, shoes, bags, jewelry, that kind of thing. And then there is some winter warmer patterns, some smaller ones, a small blanket, a cushion cover, a bag. I'm not going to show you all of these. Then there are some Christmassy knits. And I think that's it for the patterns. So let's just have a look. They have all the pages for the pattern instructions are separate towards the back of the magazine. So I'm just going to scroll past all of those. And then at the back there is the regular column by Erica Knight and Arabella Harris, when it's all too much. Faced with Christmas gift knitting overwhelm, Erica Knight and Arabella Harris of the Nightcraft Studio take a bit of a much needed downtime. Yes, we all get a bit overwhelmed this time of year, don't we? I think. So when it comes to gift knitting, if you have people in your life who like to have handmade gifts given to them, go for it. But don't stress yourself out too much by knitting or making gifts, and make sure that the people in your life you're making for are gift worthy or knit worthy or craft worthy. this is the next issue. And I think that design might be my design in the next issue. I'm pretty sure that sweater is my design for the next issue. At least it looks like it. I don't seem to have taken any pictures of it before I sent it off, but I'm pretty sure because I use that kind of stitch pattern and that kind of yarn. So I'm pretty sure that is my design. That's in the next issue, which will be out sometime in December, I guess. So that is Knitting Magazine issue 265. It's in the shops in the UK now. It was out on Thursday, so I'm filming this on Wednesday, so it's out tomorrow, but you'll see this a few days later. Not sure exactly when yet, but probably this weekend sometime. So this will already be in the shops in the UK by the time this video is out. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed there, please consider subscribing. Let me know if any of the patterns in this issue takes your fancy. Do you like the sparkly trend that we're going through at the moment, all the sequin yarns, or not? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.